Welcome everyone to my Yixuan Kit overview. Yixuan is an upcoming S-rank unit in version 2.0 of Zenless Zone Zero, a character who is supposedly a Void Hunter rank. In this kit overview, I will go over and explain Yixuan's new mechanics and her kit, her signature W engine. Then I'll briefly give my early thoughts on her possible builds and team options. Keep in mind that the information in this video is not official yet, and therefore highly subject to change. Yixuan is an S-rank Rupture agent with a special attribute Auric Ink. Yixuan is from the Yunkai Summit faction, and her core skill enhancement bonus increases crit rate and base attack. Before going over her kit, Yixuan has both a new attribute and an agent type. Starting with the unique Auric Ink attribute, this attribute is basically the same as the Ether attribute, acting in a very similar way to Miyabi's Frost attribute, meaning that Yixuan will deal Ether damage and trigger the same Ether attribute anomaly and corruption effects. The only difference is that the Auric Ink and Ether do not share the same anomaly buildup, which should also allow you to trigger a disorder effect with both anomalies. Pretty much the same as Miyabi's Frost attribute. The Rupture agent specialty is a little bit more complicated. Rupture agents do not use energy, but instead use rage, and can also deal a new type of damage called sheer damage. I'm not sure whether this applies to all Rupture agents, but in Yixuan's case, she can also use an additional ultimate. Sheer damage ignores enemy defense, so effects like defense reduction and pen won't exactly work with it. Sheer damage is affected by the agent's sheer force and sheer damage bonus. The sheer damage bonus can be granted by W engines or drive disks. Rupture agents convert attack into sheer force, although the conversion is not exactly one-to-one, so attack buffs from support characters like Astra won't be as impactful as they would usually be for attack agents. Because of that, there are dedicated sheer force buffers such as Pan Yinhu, another upcoming character, who can directly buff sheer force. You can basically consider Yixuan as an attack agent, who just deals with special mechanics. And to describe her kit in the simplest way possible, when Yixuan consumes rage by using her X special, she gains talismans. Once she has enough talismans, she can use the additional ultimate, which grants her a charge point. This charge point allows her to use an enhanced basic attack, which deals a lot of ether sheer damage, in a way similar to Miyabi, where you're basically trying to accumulate Fallen Frost stacks in order to use her enhanced basic attack. Moving on to the specifics of Yixuan's kit, and starting with her core ability. Each 1 point of max HP will increase her sheer force by 0.1. Because of this, Yixuan would typically be built for HP, as that increases her sheer force much more than attack would. At the start of combat, Yixuan will always start with maximum rage points. She would also be passively recovering rage points. A perfect dodge can also restore 5 rage points. Yixuan can also use skills that require rage, even if not enough rage points are available. However, if the current rage points fall below 0, Yixuan will enter a cooldown where she can only gain rage through her faction bonus and enhanced basic attack. When Yixuan consumes rage points, she gains talismans. When enough talismans are gained, she can use the additional ultimate. The damage Yixuan deals through her enhanced basic attack, X special, follow-up, chain attack, and both ultimates all count as chain attack and sheer damage. The damage these attacks deal is also increased by 60%. So future agents who buff sheer will be great with her, and so will agents that buff chain attack damage. Now after using the additional ultimate, Yixuan gains a charge point. The additional ultimate itself will deal ether and sheer damage, and it also takes activation priority. The enhanced basic attack Grand Tai Chi formation will deploy a sphere dealing ether and sheer damage. This attack will restore 10 rage points over 3 seconds. Yixuan will also automatically parry if she's attacked during this enhanced basic attack. After deploying the sphere, Yixuan will launch a basic attack, Wing Explosion, detonating the sphere and dealing ether and sheer damage, after which Yixuan will enter the Extreme Vision state, dealing even more damage. The same sphere can also be created by using Yixuan's non-enhanced basic attacks, although it will deal less damage. Yixuan's X Special can also charge the sphere and can automatically block attacks, gaining additional rage points or talismans to charge her additional ultimate. And lastly, for Yixuan's faction bonus, which activates if you have either a stun, support, or defense agent, which is practically all team comps. When a squad member uses their ultimate, Yixuan will recover 3 rage points over 10 seconds. When Yixuan is switched out of combat by an assist, she will deal damage based on her sheer force and gain 10 more rage points. After using Yixuan's ultimate, her crit damage will be increased by 40% for 15 seconds. To recap, Yixuan deals chain attack and sheer damage through using her X specials, additional ultimate, and enhanced basic attack. Yixuan would also need to have rage points, which can be recovered passively, but also by triggering perfect dodges, activating her faction bonus, parrying while using the X special, and her basic attacks, which can all recover rage points. There is of course a lot more to talk about in her kit, such as her regular ultimate dividing or balancing out squad members' HP, or that she has a special dash like Miyabi's or Ellen's, but that would take a lot of time, and not everything in regards to her kit is clear at this point. Now what about her signature W engine? It has a base attack of 743 and increases HP, which ties into her core ability, increasing sheer force based on HP. As for the effect, crit rate will be increased by 20%. One single stack lasting for 12 seconds can be gained by using an X special. Up to 2 stacks can be held, and 2 stacks will also be granted upon entering combat. Each stack will increase ether damage by 10% and ultimate ether sheer damage by 18%. Obviously this will be Yixuan's best in slot, but we'll also be getting more Rupture W engines in the future, so even if the current free options aren't great, we might get better W engines to use with Yixuan. Overall, Yixuan looks very interesting. As a character who's supposed to be Void Hunter rank, Yixuan will be very strong, probably on par with Miyabi, and like the other Void Hunter, she also looks very forgiving to play, with many invincibility frames and automatic parries in her kit. And in terms of her build, unless we get specific sheer main stats, she'll likely end up being built for crit and HP, with possible main stats being crit rate or damage, ether damage, and HP. HP is what increases Yixuan's sheer force the most, but she can also use bonus attack rolls. Since sheer damage ignores defense, Pen will most likely not be useful. We're also getting a new drive disc set meant for Rupture agents. The 2-piece of this set will increase HP, and the 4-piece bonus will increase crit rate by 4% when an X special, chain attack, or ultimate is used, stacking up to 3 times, each stack lasting for 15 seconds. Once 3 stacks are achieved, sheer damage is increased by 10%. As for possible team comps, supports like Nicole or Rena will probably not work that well, since sheer always ignores defense. Attack buffs from Caesar, Astra, or Lucy don't translate that well into sheer force, but I think they will still be usable options to run with Yixuan. But luckily we are also getting A-rank sheer buffers in the same patch. Zhu Fufu, an upcoming stunner, will likely also work well with Yixuan, as Zhu Fufu buffs chain attack damage, and for some reason, Yixuan also deals chain attack damage outside of chain attacks. And that's all from this kit overview. This might be the most complicated kit yet. The new agent type looks very interesting, but doesn't make explaining things any easier. But once we do get some official gameplay, it'll probably make a lot more sense. Thank you for making it till the end, and thank you for watching.